All right, today we are starting section 8.5. We'll be spending 3 days on this section. Today our objective will be to write equations in slope-intercept form. I think that will be our objective pretty much this whole section. So first, to warm up, what is slope-intercept form? You can raise their hand and tell me what it is. Deja. Wonderful. Y equals mx plus b. That's the form that we are trying to put all of these equations in. What from that equation is the variable for slope? Keon? M stands for slope. What is the variable for the y-intercept? Natalie? V is our y-intercept. I still saw people switching those on that quiz. And finally, we have to simplify the fraction 5/20. Jaquan? 1/4. Very good. We divide both top and bottom by 5. It simplifies to 1/4. Our notes are pretty short and sweet today. We are going to begin writing equations. The information that you are given will vary. Today, you will be given the slope and the y-intercept. So today is the most direct information you could possibly be given to write these equations. All right, so we are asked to write the equation of each line in slope-intercept form with the given slope and y-intercept. So, our general equation is y equals mx plus b. We are looking to plug something in for m and plug something in for b. On example 1, what do you think I'm going to plug in for m? Ellie? 3. And what am I going to plug in for b? Natalie? 2. So y equals 3x plus 2. That's it. Today's is pretty simple. You're given your slope, you're given the y-intercept, you plug them in. X and y are going to stay x and y when we write equations. All right, on example 2, does anybody think they know what my equation is? May? Negative 5x plus 4. Wonderful. That's it. Plug in your m and your b and you are finished. Remember that slope is always m, y-intercept is always b. Number 3. Jaquan? Instead of writing plus -6, what could I write? -6. Good. If you write plus -6, that's not wrong. It's okay to do that. I just prefer to write it as simple as I can. Y equals -2x minus 6. If you don't put the y equals, it is incorrect. So make sure you have the whole equation on there. Any new volunteers for number 4? Ryan? Y equals 7x minus 9. Very good. All right. Any takers for number 5? Keon? 1x minus 1. Do I need to put the 1 in front of the x? No. So if you were to write it as y equals x minus 1, that would also be okay. Either way is fine with me. All right, what about number 6? Deja? Y equals -x plus 3. Very good. Again, if you want to put the 1 in there, you can. If you just have the negative sign out in front of the x, that's fine. So we'll write it both ways, just in case anybody likes to see it the other way. All right, on example 7, they no longer say slope and y-intercept. Now they're just calling them M and B. We have to know what they stand for. Anybody want to try number 7? Anybody I haven't already heard from today? Jamal, you haven't answered a whole one on your own yet. Y equals 1x plus 0. That would be one way of writing it. Lexi, what's another way?
Y equals x.
Very good. Y equals x is how you'll most likely see it written on problems that you have on your homework or quizzes or tests. It is not wrong to write it with the 1 and the 0. You just won't usually see it that way. All right, what about number 8? I'm going to have to start picking on people. Jakeem, what do you think? Negative 1x plus 0. Y equals negative 1x plus 0 will work. What is the alternative to that one, Keon? Y equals negative x is the alternative. Okay, I'm going to box the answers you'll usually see. That does not mean that the other ones are wrong. It just means that we will usually see them written the way that I boxed them in. We'll use the popsicle sticks. Keon, what did you get for number 9?
Y equals 1 over 3 plus 4.
Very good. Y equals 1/3 x plus 4. Ryan, what did you get for number 10?
Y equals negative 5 over 7x plus 4/5.
Very good. Y equals negative 5/7 x plus 4/5. Houston, number 11.
Y equals 2 over 6 x plus -5.
All right. Did anybody do anything to change that, Ellie?
I simplified it so y equals 1/3 x plus 5.
Very good. We should always simplify if we can. So we would want to simplify our slope to be 1/3 instead of 2/6. Shannon, what'd you get on number 12?
Y equals
Y equals 5x minus 4/10. And on that one, again, we realized we should be able to simplify. Carl, what'd we do? Very good. 4/10 simplifies to 2/5. So we would want to reduce that fraction. Questions on 9 through 12. Number 13. Trinity, what did you get? Y equals 2/3 x. I like it. If we have a 0 for our y-intercept, we do not usually put the plus 0 on the end. We usually just leave that off. All right, number 14. Deja?
Y equals 5 over 2x minus 1.
Y equals 5/2 x minus 1. Very good. Logan, what did you put on number 15?
Y equals 0x plus 8.
Very good. Y equals 0x plus 8. I had some people ask about that problem. Jaquan, what do you think the alternative answer is? Y equals 8. Very good. 0 times x is just 0. So we can rewrite it as just y equals 8. Remember, any line that has a slope of 0 is a horizontal line. And horizontal lines are always written as y equals a number. So if you put the top line, I would not mark it wrong. However, we do need to start recognizing that our final answer really should just be y equals 8. With that in mind, Kelby, what'd you get for 16? Very good. Y equals 3/2. Again, if you started off with y equals 0x plus 3/2, that's okay, but we should recognize that it will simplify to just y equals 3/2. All right, these are not in your notes, but they are in our slideshow, so we're going to go through a few more examples because we got plenty of time still. So these ones, we still have to identify the slope and the y-intercept, then we write the equation of the line. Okay, so we've identified slope and y-intercept from a graph before. We're just going to take it one step further on these. Jaquan, what is the slope of number 1? 0/0, so what do we call it? Nope. What was that, Carl? Undefined. Our slope is undefined. It's hard to fit that in there. And where does our line cross the y-axis? Carl? Nope. Jaquan? Nope. What was that, Jerry-O? It doesn't. There is no y-intercept. Does anybody remember what the equation for these lines look like? A vertical line. Kian? Nope, that's horizontal. X equals a number. So we have to know that the equation of this is going to be x equals a number. What number should x equal? -2. Any of these points is going to have a -2 for the x. -2, 1, -2, 2, -2, -4. Okay? So x will always equal -2. That's kind of a special case. All right, on number 2, what is my slope? So if it helps, I know it's a little hard to do this from the board, but we can identify a couple points that are on our line in order to help us figure out our slope. If it's easier, we could do the y-intercept first. Deja, what do you think?
2/1.
Slope is 2/1. Should that be positive or negative? Negative. Why do I know that it should be negative? The line goes down. All right, and what about my y-intercept or my b? If you want to answer, sure. I know, it's a little hard to see. So here's 0. There's -1. So this would be -2. All right, with that information, Connie, what is the equation of my line? So we said our slope is -2 and our y-intercept is -2. So we're just writing the equation of the line y equals mx plus b.
Y equals 2/1 x plus 2.
So our slope was -2/1. Will we usually write it over 1?
No.
Not usually. So -2x. Instead of adding a -2, we usually just put -2 or subtract 2. So these problems kind of have like 2 steps to them. First, we got to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Then we have to plug it in to the equation. All right, on number 3. Again, I know these are a little hard to see. So I'll try to mark some points for us to use. Any volunteers to try to help us identify our slope and our y-intercept? Keon?
1/3.
Our slope is 1/3, but should it be positive or negative? Why is it negative? Our line is going downhill, so we know it's got to be negative. And what about our y-intercept, Keon? Positive 5. Okay, so we have, I'll write it up here so we can see it a little better. For this one, we have m equals negative 1/3 and b equals positive 5. Nevaeh, what would the equation of my line be?
Y equals negative 1/3 plus 5.
What are we missing out of that?
X.
The x, very good. Y equals negative 1/3 x plus 5. Questions, concerns? All right, last 3 that we're going to do, and then we'll get our homework. I will again go through and mark some points for us to use. These, let's do that first. All right. Number 4, any volunteers to help identify our slope and y-intercept? Lexi.
1.
Slope is 1, and what about our y-intercept?
3.
Y-intercept is 3. Tariana, what is the equation of that line? Y equals 1x plus 3. Wonderful. And again, if you don't want to put that 1 there, you don't have to. It could just be x plus 3. Y equals x plus 3. All right, on number 5, our slope and our y-intercept. Deja volunteering again.
No, you said y, you said?
Our slope and our y-intercept. We need them both.
The y is 4.
The y-intercept is at 4. What about our slope? Jamal? 0. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. Jeriel, what is the equation of that line? So we identified our slope and our y-intercept, and now we need to write the equation of the line.
Equals 0x plus 4.
Y equals 0x plus 4. Keon, what's the other way we can write it?
Y equals 4.
Just y equals 4. All right, number 6. Any volunteers to help identify our slope and our y-intercept? Jamal.
Slope is 2/1.
2 over 1. I'm just going to write that as a 2, but yes, it would be over 1. And what about our y-intercept?
2.
Also 2. So to write the equation of that line, Delaney,
Y equals 2x plus 2.
y equals 2x plus 2. Wonderful.